Okay, we're going to go ahead and make our bed. Try to get enough angle. And use the light here. Yeah, hey. Wow. So, I'm home. Just got to walk my half mile through the grass and the trees. And to be able to go ahead and round, have my moccasins on. So now, I'm gonna make my bed. You'll notice my bed floats. Yeah, isn't that cool? And so it actually, on the ropes, allows you to sleep at night in a way you would not believe is possible otherwise. And when you sleep like that, you get, I think, a better quality of sleep while you're sleeping. So you don't need as much sleep. Now, how many of you have ever slept on a bed hanging from ropes or chains before? It's different. It's hard to explain exactly, but it's different. In one respect, when you breathe, it literally floats back and forth with you. And so you have sort of a floating effect all night long, as opposed to a waterbed. A waterbed you have to move to make waves or something, so you don't really get the benefit. I swear, I've been sleeping on this thing now for probably 9 years. Never ever slept better in my life than I sleep on this bed. Now it's got nothing but a futon, which I should flip over as a matter of fact. You're supposed to flip a futon over every couple of times. And, oh yeah, everybody got a knife under their bed? Oh, I keep one, just in case I have a bad dream. And that way you keep it under your bed when you keep a gun. All right. Oh, I got a crystal under my bed too. And then I sleep with it underneath my chest. I actually should be getting some sunlight. I should charge that up again. Yeah. If you didn't know about that, you can do that too. And make your sleep even better. There's all sorts of things you can do that I consider conventional, but there's enough proof nowadays that they work that you might as well try them. Particularly if you have a syndrome or something where you're a little high-level autistic or something like, what do they call that, the Asperger's. It's supposed to be really good to help sleep. Now, being a person that was potentially in that class of Asperger's, or high-level ADHD, all those tags they put on kids. It turns out if a kid is like that and he sleeps in one of these beds, he's more likely to sleep better and therefore have a better attitude and mind the next day. Isn't that nice? So literally sleeping on a bed that's floating on ropes can change your whole attitude, behavior, everything based on being able to float at night. Now, some people may not believe it. I don't really care. I'm just telling you because it works for me. And I personally, I sleep about 7 hours a night. If I sleep 8, that's really luxurious. And I feel so good. And in the past, that wasn't so much the case. I really needed more sleep. But all you have to do to find out is figure out how to hang your bed from the ceiling. Now, if you are going to do that, I'll give you a couple of hints. One, make sure that you get these things bolted. I got bolts, and I got 2x8s in the ceiling running across. So I'm not just bolting into this 3/8 inch thick wood. That's longleaf pine. Now normally that would hold a lot more than a regular board that thick, but even still I don't want to trust it. I might be in here all excited and bouncing up and down. Might be somebody else here in with me, like Trinity. And I want to make sure this thing doesn't fall. Now the other thing is make sure you use good ropes. Because if you don't use a really good rope, it could break. And how much rope do you need? Well, if you check on it, you think about how much weight, and that's typically weight without any motion. So when you start moving it around and adding motion to mass, then you have to have a stronger rope. So one of the rules is if you get about an inch of using a hemp rope. Hemp is the strongest fiber of the natural fiber ropes. Admittedly, there are stronger ropes. There are some new fibers that are stronger. I happen to like hemp. Look for a shipping rope or something like that. And this one even started coming tied a little bit. But you want to go ahead and know the rope is going to stretch. Tie a really good knot. Tie a double knot. In fact, this should be even tied back again. It was for a while. And then that way it won't gradually slip through, which it looks like it's trying to do. If you go ahead and also use a Z, there's one of these strips on here. And if I pulled that down around there and then tighten it up, then that would also help it keep it from untying later on. Okay, so I'm getting ready to do the bottom of the bed here. And overall, if you wanted to put it on something for boards, I've got 1x12s, and you can make a door. You can actually take a really cool door and use that under your bed and just hang the door from there. So you have a paneled bottom on your bed. I'm probably gonna make a couple of these and show people how to do them, and maybe I'll sell some of these floating beds to the public. Now, why would the public want to buy them? Because they really are good. That's why. Now, if you want to go ahead and follow up and get hold of me about that, I've got doors up to 8 feet tall, so you can put a full-size bed, 7 foot 6, 7'4". But what's nice is when you have your bed hanging like this, is if your bed is just have a taller door, you've got like a headboard that you can put things on, or have your you can put a headboard on that mounted, so you have a floating bed with a floating headboard. Wouldn't that be cool? So if you're interested in those kind of things and find yourself compelled, I can get you the doors, I can get you the rope, I can even get you probably some really cool hooks, but you need an eye hook. I can also show you, if you need consulting, on how you go ahead and bolt the board up on the ceiling to the ceiling rafters, so that you can then bolt to a good board that's tied into your whole ceiling, so it doesn't just tie into one or two and cause your ceiling sheetrock to crack. For some people, if you're going to use a double bed or big bed, I like sleeping in your own bed, so that way you move to your own breathing as opposed to sleeping with somebody. But if you're going to go ahead and hang a bed from the ceiling, you can also go up in the attic and put a board up above the rafters. And by doing that, this board that this is attached to sits on top of all the rafters. And then the whole ceiling carries it, and you don't have to worry about it pulling in one spot and causing the sheetrock to crack again. Hopefully you don't have a sheetrock ceiling. You have one that's made out of solid wood. And if you don't, I can get you the wood to do that. And just go right over your sheetrock, put a wood ceiling in. And then as you're doing that, also make sure you have something to bolt to, and you can go ahead and have a hanging bed with a wood ceiling. Beadboard. How's that sound? And I can even ship it to you in panels. So you just put up sections of beadboard as long as your room, and put them up and screw them up to the joists. Have a beautiful ceiling, and then hang your bed from that. How's that sound? I can do that for you. Now, if you had a bed like this, and you want to, of course, you want to have a feather blanket, because we got cold weather coming. So, you get feather blankets in. When I was in Europe as a child, everybody had feather blankets. And they would go ahead and use them, and they'd go fluff them out at night, or the next day on the windows, and let them air out every day. That's a lot of work. And I'm going to tell you, I don't actually do that myself. But You're supposed to go ahead and do that. You have a duvet on them. A duvet is a giant pillow cover for your mattress. Now, if you've never had a feather mattress, oh, you want to have a feather mattress. Because honestly, it's like sleeping underneath a cloud at night. Now, one of the things you see I'm doing is knocking these feathers all around so they're nice and fluffy everywhere and not just clumped up on one end. Now, some of these, they have pockets in them, so you don't have to do that. Now, all the pockets have a certain amount of feathers in them. But you want to get down, if you can do it, down feathers, not chicken feathers. Chicken feathers will stick you. And you don't want to do that. Now, another thing I do at night, I highly recommend pickle juice. Good stuff. I do this at night so I don't get cramps. Because otherwise, when you got this much muscle and you don't drink enough during the day, water, you get dehydrated or something like that, it can mess you up at night. You get these really severe cramps. I mean, like, if you haven't had them, let's just say you get out of bed and you stand up so you can get your feet to uncurl because they're knotted all the way up your leg. So, one of the things you can do about that is to take and drink some of that pickle juice every night before you go to bed. Have a couple of swigs. Woo! And they call it a sports drink now. Secret ingredient. That and salt. What's that do for you? Well, you got to have sodium. You got to be able to release the muscles when you tighten them up. And my problem is, I can tighten them up, but I can't release them sometimes. And that is painful. You get a cramp, because cramp is effectively 95% of your muscle tightening up and not being able to release. So the potassium and sodium balances on the cell wall are not appropriate to allow the charge, electrical charge, positive ions and negative ions that move through your muscles and actually everywhere, not just your muscles. That actually happens in all of your mitochondria, and everything inside of you has the charge constantly moving. And it can be in the form of light. Light is actually electricity. It's a charge. And we have a body that's full of cabling, light cabling. And that's called phospholipids. They phosphor when they get energy hits them. So phosphoring means lighting up. And so we have all these energy pathways inside of us that light up. And thankfully, and that's kind of like our spirit operating inside of our body in that sense. If you're a light being and you have all this light moving around in you, then you're being light and carrying this light energy around, and you call that life. So your light being is life itself. The process of living and transforming all that food and making fuel out of it, carbohydrates, hydrocarbons we buy at the gas tank, carbohydrates we eat, carbon and hydrogen and water, and we end up making fuel that runs our body. Now, you also have protein besides carbohydrates, but sugars are carbohydrates, for example. So carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. Gotta have fats. And then you can see I don't have a lot of fat, so I have to eat more fats for energy. And if you have a lot of fat and you can convert it to energy, that's great, but you still need muscle. Muscle is the key to make your anti-inflammatory agents in your body. Your muscles, when you work out, produces your stem cells, so you can grow new cells in the body. And you can't keep growing new cells. People don't know that. You can keep regenerating the body and keeping it young and healthy as long as you use the muscles to create new stem cells. and the anti-inflammatory agents that you get out of the muscles. And then when you work out in the sun, you get sunlight on your skin, you create the antioxidants and you get the melatonin going, charged up good. And darn, don't tell me I messed this up. So what I want to tell everybody is that you can stay young by doing more working out. You can be better shape physically. You'll sleep better. And if you put yourself on a hanging bed, well, you might even go ahead and sleep better than you ever slept before. Now, that's not a bad thing. Not in my book, isn't it? But if you want to go ahead and test this theory out, you want to go ahead and get one of these beds, I'll be glad to make one up for you. I would. And if I do, and you sleep in it, it turns out to be the best sleep you ever had, then you'll help convince other people to do the same thing. And if you get enough people doing the same thing, and everybody sleeps together better, maybe they'll be in a better mood, and we'll have a more peaceful world. How's that sound? Sounds pretty idealistic, doesn't it? But, hey, what the hey? Why not be idealistic? Why not believe? Why not have faith? Especially as you get ready to go to bed at night. Now, if you haven't tried using these pillows like this, so that you can put them around your body at night, and so that you have your back on one side, and you can have your front on the other, and your shoulders can go, and your neck can be supported, and your head can be supported. If you don't use those, you need to. And then the other thing you need to do is to have a body pillow. And a body pillow goes along the whole length of your body, and what it does is it allows you to go ahead and tuck it up tight to the chest, so that you can go ahead and keep from having caved in chest at night, from having all your weight go like that when you're sleeping. You want to sleep like with your chest supported and your back supported. Now I say this because I had a broken back all my life. I mean, the consequences of it was scoliosis. I broke it when I was 2.5 years old. And so I want to tell you, it was painful. I never imagined there'd be a day I wouldn't be in pain every day of my life. But when I was in my 30s, I learned about sleeping with body pillows, and that helped a lot. But not enough. Later on, though, these other pillows came out, and they have the ability to get your neck up and your shoulders up and roll from one side to the other, because you really need to turn over from one side to the other for every hour and a half or so when you go through your changes in REM sleep, because you actually digest on one side of your bed, your sides better than the other. You need to have the motion back and forth during the night to go from the bladder and the intestine side back over and cause that movement while you're sleeping. And so I wake up, usually turn over, but I also go pee at night. I don't know if any of you guys do that, but if you are going to go pee at night and you're going to feel a bed like this, you really need to have a canopy bed. This is a canopy bed. You know what's a canopy bed? You're looking for a canopy? This is a canopy, but no. This is a canopy. And you put this next to your bed. And then if you pee at night, you just reach over and you grab your can and you bring it over here and you lay here and you pee in it, and then you go ahead and put it back over here. Isn't that nice? Now I happen to have a little fan by my bed. It's a DeWalt fan, a 20 volt. And this is my air conditioning. And in my house, this actually gets me through the summer. Gets me through most weather. Now right now, I ran it all last night. I'm probably a little low on power. But for the moment, that's just enough to cool the place off, get the airflow going, and be able to go ahead and have a little bit of fresh air. I wish I'd run to the battery now I think about it. But it's going to be a cool night, and I'll be fine. So, if anybody has any questions about all this stuff, shoot me an email. I'll go ahead and post it. Probably won't anybody get to listen to it or watch it. But if you do, think about getting a floating bed on ropes. Think about getting to bed. I made this one out of the backs of church pews. That's expensive. Really nice longleaf pine. But I can make you a back out of a door. I can make you a back out of a barn door. All sorts of ways to make you a bottom for your bed and have it be super cool. I can even have secret compartments under your bed. But if you want one, get a hold of me. If you have any questions, there you go. That's what it looks like. See how it's bolted up? There you go. Take care.